Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Beliefcast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires Beliefcast. Today, I am honored to sit down with Amy Cook, the powerhouse CMO and co-founder of Fullcast, and a platform transforming how revenue teams plan, perform, and grow. With a Ph.D. in communication and a deep background in marketing and RevOps leadership, Amy has helped scale companies, align teams, and elevate voices, especially those often left out of the tech conversation. From building multi-million-dollar strategies to mentoring women in leadership, Amy brings heart, hustle. I added that one. That was mine because you're a hustler. High impact to wisdom to everything she touches. She's not just a marketing expert. She's a visionary bridge builder between people, performance, and purpose. So, I've known you for a while now, Amy. We met. God, has it been 8 years ago?
A while, yeah.
And I've always admired you. You've worked for Forbes magazine. You're just this high-powered person. You have a light about you that really shines when you walk into a room. I think many people say that about you. So anyway, I just always admire your work, and I just am honored to have you on the show today.
Well, it is such a pleasure. I really appreciate it. And I love what you're doing. I think that,
thanks.
To spend your time in your days lifting other people up is like the highest calling ever. I think it's amazing.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. Well, guys, we're in for a great conversation today. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for always, supporting the show. It means the world to me. So Amy, why don't you help us and our listeners, get to know you a little bit. Tell us where you grew up and maybe some information about your family.
Sure, you bet. I grew up in Provo, Utah. I'm the oldest of 5 children, and something that's a little unique about me is that I am the daughter of an entertainer. Wayne Osmond was one of the Osmond brothers. Had a career starting at age 6 and retired at about 63. So he had almost, he had a lot of years behind him.
Right. Yeah.
And he recently passed away, and so that he's been on my mind a lot. Lately, but it was a fabulous time growing up. I felt really lucky. One thing that was impactful to me, at first a negative way and then a positive way, was that when I was 6 years old, my dad and his whole family found out that they lost all their money. What was originally, in today's dollars, it would be around probably $500 million. And one day my grandpa came to my dad and said, "It's all gone, every single bit of it, and we're in deep debt." And my dad was just absolutely crushed, and had a lot of health challenges resulting from that. And at first, for me growing up in this, it was really hard for me to watch my parents struggle. And it was especially hard to watch them struggle when, from the outside perspective, they and others wanted everything to seem fine, right? And they were lucky because they could still work and everything, but it was a real blow to them. And so that was something that impacted me kind of early, especially me and my 2 brothers, where we were like, we're going to just work as hard as we possibly can. And my dad always said, "Hey, one of the reasons I struggled so much financially is because I didn't have a college education. So I want you all to go get college education." And so, there are many ways to get an education these days.
Right. Yeah.
At the time, that was what my parents wanted me to do.
Sure,
so he did that. The Cliff's Notes version was that I got married. I got divorced about 5 years later. I had 2 little kids, and I had no idea what I was going to do. My plan was to get married and never look back.
Yeah, right.
And just raise kids, and that's what my mom did. That's what I was planning on doing. And And I just didn't have that option anymore. And so I thought, well, I don't know what I am going to do. And so luckily I did have a college degree, and I thought being a professor would be a good way to, get back into everything and be flexible for the kids. And so I went back to school. While I was trying to finish my doctorate, I got remarried, and I thought, oh, my problems are over.
Yeah,
he was the
problem solved.
cutest guy.
Yeah.
And he was a finance guy.
Yeah.
And we had two. So I had two from my first marriage, and then two from my second marriage. And Jeff got a job with Lehman Brothers 1 month before they went bankrupt.
Oh,
so
man.
then all of a sudden, he had no job and he couldn't move because we had a custody situation in place where it was going to be difficult to move.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, well, it's time for me to go to work. There's really no other option.
Yeah,
right?
this is what we're going to have to do.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that is just, even though it was not what I had planned on, I started, trying to do that, and I needed flexibility. So I started a marketing agency and started just trying to pick up whatever work I could get. Because I was getting my doctorate in communication, I knew how to write. And so I would go to these businesses and say, hey, is there any way I can just write some articles for you?
Yeah.
And so, at first they were like, all right, I'll throw you a bone. Here's an article to write. And then they would say, well, I see that you can write. Can you design? Well, no, I couldn't design. And so I hired someone to design.
Yeah, right.
And they said, okay, well, you can write and design. Can you do web? You can write and design and do web. Can you do business strategy? And so I learned very organically how to do marketing just from trial and error, really, with a content background. And so
winging it,
just just kind of right. I had the Richard Branson quote in my head. I was listening to him one day, and he said, when I was first starting my business, I told everybody yes, no matter what. And then I figured out how to do it later. And I thought, well, that's good enough for me too.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to have to do.
That's what I'm going to have to do. So, after that, I don't know if this is too long of a story.
No, this is great. I appreciate it. This is helpful.
After that, I started picking up some fractional work. So I was very grateful to, first of all, start off as a marketing director for a healthcare company.
Yeah.
And then I was very fortunate to work with Ryan Westwood, who was running Simplus at the time. And I was helping him ghostwrite some Forbes columns.
Okay.
And I let him know one day that I was looking for something a little bit different. And he was looking for a marketing lead at the same time. And so it was just the most amazing opportunity. I basically put my marketing business on hold and went over to be his CMO at Simplus. At Simplus, we grew the business. We sold it to Infosys. And then I thought, wow, that was really fun. Let's see if I can do it again,
Yeah.
And so was fortunate to work with a guy named Dan Lambert as his CMO. We grew a business called Pathology Watch, and we sold it to a company called Sonic Healthcare.
Oh,
And then
nice.
I was like, oh, that was so fun. What can I do? And so then I was fortunate to work with Ryan Wells, and we built Onboard, and it was sold to Conservice. And so now Fullcast is it. I sold my agency, and I'm all in on Fullcast and trying to help this grow in Silicon Slopes.
It's the next challenge, right?
It's the next challenge. But through that, I learned quite a few important lessons about how not everything goes right all the time. You have to be able to pivot. And sometimes your greatest blessings are things you never expected and didn't even look for.
Well, yeah, and I love how you said, you were kind of winging it. Like, okay, I got to figure this out, you know? And anyone listening to this, starting something new, that's usually what it looks like. You're like, I got to just figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where, if I'm not mistaken, you were named the 2024 Utah Business Leader of the Year, correct?
Yes, thank you.
So congratulations on that.
Very
and
much.
I remember seeing that, and I was like, wow. And that's not an easy thing to get. because there's
thank
probably
you.
so many people that they could pick from. And so congratulations on doing that. But going from that to that, right? And all the things you've learned, and to hear you say, it was so much fun. I'm sure there was a little tears in between there sometimes.
There were a lot of tears. There were a lot of tears, a lot of, what am I doing? A lot of like, I hope nobody knows I don't know anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of that all the way through. But I feel very grateful and undeserving. Yeah. But just very grateful to have had the opportunities to grow and learn. And even the really challenging times were really good moments of growth.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think of this statement? I'm just curious what you think. Life happens for you. What do you think of that?
Oh, I've never heard that before. Let's see.
It's the opposite of life happens to you.
Oh, I love this, actually.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Life happens for it. Well, I do think that... So when I was getting my Ph.D., there's a guy named Kenneth Burke that I used to study, and he was widely known as the greatest philosopher of the 20th century. And he had something pretty profound that I fully believe, and that is that we have so much input coming in at us. It's that way more than ever, right? We have so many things in this world that we could turn our attention to. Our brains literally cannot process it.
Right.
So his famous statement is, any representation of reality is a deflection of one reality in favor of another reality. I've bastardized the quote, but it basically is that you're not experiencing reality. You are selecting reality and deflecting another reality.
Dang.
And I think that is really powerful.
I like that.
And I think it's true.
Yeah.
And so when people say like things like, I'm going to manifest this to happen, I'm going to will this to happen, what I look at it as more in terms of, instead of them conjuring it up in thin air, what I think they're doing is selecting certain experiences, using those to define their reality, and finding meaning in the experiences that they select.
I like that. I've never heard of it said that way either, and I think that makes sense. I like that a lot. Obviously you grew up in a family who entertained and things like that. What were some of the big lessons? I mean, I know it's a tough question, but some of the big lessons you learned from your family growing up?
Well, there are a few sayings that we always would say to each other. And the first one is, the show must go on. I remember, I used to do 12 shows. I was the violinist in the show back in the day.
Okay.
Yes. And so I would do 12 shows a week, 2 shows a day, 6 days a week while I was in high school and going to school.
Wow.
And it didn't matter if you were tired. It didn't matter if you were sick. The show must go on.
The show must
and
go on.
That's kind of life too. The life goes on. The show must go on. You have to pick yourself up and get it done, regardless of how you feel.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a really, really good lesson that I've taken throughout my life. Another one was, you're only as good as your last show. I think that is so true.
Wow.
It doesn't matter how many accolades you have. It doesn't matter how many times you've been successful. You're only as good as the one that you're doing right now.
That's amazing. I like that a lot, actually. Well, my perception of you is that you're, and everyone's, I think, is you're a hustler. We said that in the beginning. and that's a total compliment to you.
Thank you.
Did you learn that because of that? Like, hey, the show must go on. Hey, you may be tired, but hey, we've committed to doing this show. We need you.
I think it's a personality thing as well as a it was probably a personality trait that was emphasized by growing up in the family that I did. I remember when I was 6 years old, I was swinging on the swings in my backyard, and I had this fear overcome me. And I was walking, it was one of my core memories as a kid. I'm walking back into the house, and I thought, it is 1982. I am 6 already. How am I going to get everything done in my life that I want to get done?
Really?
Yes.
At 6?
At 6 years old.
Man.
And I thought, something's clearly wrong with me. Looking around at my friends and my cousins, my brothers and sisters, and I'm like, well, something's wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think that, I've always had that kind of hustle mentality.
Yeah.
And it was definitely emphasized by my family.
Yeah.
For sure.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You also, you're also a very optimistic person, very positive, right? You really are.
I think so.
But you obviously have tough times as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're human, and I know you're human. We have our rough times.
Yes.
Talk about that for a second. Like, how do you handle those days or those weeks or months or years even that it's just a struggle, it's a battle? How do you kind of keep your head up in those situations?
I think it's really hard. I remember, I battled some depression, especially after I got divorced. And I was so lucky to have a mom that would just sit there and listen to me. And she probably listened to me cry 4 hours a day for 2 years.
Yeah.
Being able to have her was so important in my life. And not everybody gets that, but if you can find a friend or a therapist or somebody to help you get through that, I just think it's so important to process your emotions and to help you kind of frame how you want to be and who you are. I remember when I was divorced as well, I was going to a therapist every week, and I was in the middle of a rant, and it was my typical rant. And I remember, and I stopped in the middle of it, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done talking about myself. I'm so tired of hearing myself rant. I'm done.
Yeah.
I got it all out.
I got it all out finally.
And I learned that I didn't want that to be my story anymore.
Wow.
And so then I started focusing on other things. But I do think it's really important to process your emotions and to let yourself feel things. And I am grateful that I feel pretty positive about life, but I don't always,
Yeah, sure.
And I'm sure you probably have people that you trust that you can just say your innermost feelings to.
Absolutely.
My husband is that for me now, and we go walk the dog every night, and I'll just dump on him.
Yeah.
And
Buckle up, here we go.
Yep,
right.
Yep. So that's, I think, just even having it. And my sister, another one.
Yeah.
I saw her on Tuesday, and we both had just a day, and we're like, you go first. No, you go first.
Yeah.
So
That's great. Well, you mentioned something. About the power of the story you were telling yourself. Obviously, I work with a lot of clients who have gone through divorce or they're currently going through it. And it's even if it's the right thing, it's a tough, as you well know,
it's so hard.
It is so hard. It's like going through a death.
It really is.
Right?
Well, and in some ways it's worse than a death, because at least for me, I felt so rejected that it's like they died, but then they're still there, and it just makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. It's a tough time.
So obviously you got to a point where you were just done with this current story you were saying. You were just like, I'm done. What did the new story become? What were you starting to tell yourself about you? Do you remember?
It's a really good question, and I'm trying to think about that. Because I think for me, this is the Beliefcast, right? So I'm okay to talk about my beliefs. And
absolutely, yeah. Okay, this is your story. Please do.
I'm a pretty religious person, and so, but, and I grew up a member of the Church of Jesus Christ, and I always tried so hard to do everything perfect, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's so silly. It was a totally losing battle because it's impossible. And I remember when I got divorced, it was literally my whole entire life was a failure.
Yeah.
And I had no money. I was living in the basement with my parents. I had failed in the one thing I wanted to succeed in. And I just remember one day just feeling like God loved me, and I thought, wow, He still loves me. I screwed everything up and he still loves me. And it would just open my world. I thought, wow, well, I've completely botched my original plan. So now what am I going to do? What can I do now? And it really actually opened up a lot of, opened up my mind a lot to think, let me rethink through this. And some of the things I thought about trying to be perfect, trying to be good, trying to be right, I had to rethink a lot of that. And so it reframed my perspective. And I feel like that is the time when I really truly became a Christian. So I think that it was very meaningful to me. So that was kind of like the story that I started telling myself was different at that time.
Gotcha.
Because I was able to let go of the perfectionistic tendencies that hold a lot of us back, right?
Right, for sure.
And it doesn't have to be religion that allows you to let go of that, however you can do it, right? But I do think that when you can let go of that and you think perfect is the enemy of good, or whatever that is.
I love that. Yeah.
That you can start just going in a new direction.
Wow, I love that. Well, I love what you said too, where, even though I made mistakes and maybe screwed some things up, God still loves me. And you had that awareness, that aha moment, if you will. And it woke you up to oh, I'm still good.
Yeah.
I'm fine, even though this happened.
Yeah.
The other thing that stood out, I often share with my clients this truth. The most powerful force in the human psyche is the story you tell yourself about yourself.
So true.
And that's why I was so curious, because, going through what you did, really difficult, obviously, but you changed the narrative about you.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that you could lean on going, hey, even though I'm not perfect, God still cares about me. Yeah.
And I think that is a really good one too. And I also think we set so many limiting beliefs on ourselves, right?
Oh yeah.
I think feeling like I'm okay even though I make mistakes, that was the first thing for me. Second thing for me was pain is pain, right? And it doesn't matter if it's you experience it through divorce or addiction or death or whatever it is, pain is pain. And once you really experience something like that to the level of the death, I feel kind of bad saying this, but it was really bad. The pain and my depression was really bad. And so once you experience that, you just want everyone to feel better. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what anyone did, doesn't matter what, you just want everyone to feel better, and you can empathize a lot better because you can understand, even if your pain is different from their pain, you can understand what that feels like, and you can try to help a little bit, So I think that was the second thing for me to kind of help reframe the story a little bit. And then I think the third thing is why, if you can just kind of say to yourself, why not me? So many of us are oh, I could never do that. But why not?
Yeah, but why not?
Why not? And I really believe I had an advantage because my dad always told me that I could do anything I wanted. That was my advantage.
Right.
Because I was too little to believe anything else than what he told me.
Right.
And I'm very, very grateful for that. And then I had a mom who helped me do it. She's like, well, if you really want to learn how to play the violin and be in the shows, you're going to have to take some lessons.
You have to put in some work here, Amy.
You're going to have to put some work in, So I think I don't know. I think that those have really contributed to helping people tell a positive story about themselves.
Yeah.
And then also, even if you don't believe that you're worthy, even if you don't believe that you deserve, if you can surround yourself with people who love you, who are positive influences, even if your family is not that, you can find friends that will support you, and a group that will support you, or whatever. Get yourself in the position where you're feeling positive vibes from other people, and you can give positive vibes. I feel like that can help you change your story.
Yeah, I love that. Well said. Thank you for sharing that. Well, so you kind of go from, you go through this really tough divorce and, your life's kind of feel like it's going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
But now here you are, you're the CMO of Fullcast. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, you've helped lead 34 million female-led seed round for Fullcast. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And wow.
Thank you.
Right. And I know you're an advocate for women and helping them and, because obviously look what you've done. But to go from that to this.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. Ryan Westwood did the lion's share of that.
Yeah.
But I did have a lot of friends who are women want to participate. And women are not always given the opportunity to participate in some of the best deals and some of the best rounds. And so I feel very grateful that that we're able to start participating a little bit more fully in the business community.
Yeah.
I think that it's a real opportunity for us now to be able to take a stand. And even, some people look at the current political environment and the anti-woke stuff that they're, and people see that as a negative toward women.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way because I believe fully and have always believed that all women needed was a fair shake. They didn't need, we don't need special treatment. We just need a fair shake.
Exactly.
And so I actually think that this could be a very great opportunity for women in business, because there is not the mandate to prioritize or tokenize women. And I think that that's what's been happening a little bit in the business community, where, a lot of us are working as hard as we possibly can and doing a lot of good. And yet, oftentimes we're tokenized and, oh, well, she just got that because she's a woman in business and they had a quota to fill. And,
they automatically just assume that because of the culture and what have you.
I think that there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I do think that's an opportunity for us.
No, I love that. Again, it goes back to, you're the hustler and you really, you really work hard and you really do command the room, honestly, when you come into it. And so talk a little bit more about, what your, I guess, goal is in your mind with Fullcast, and where do you see it going, and what do you want to accomplish, especially with women?
With women?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. This is a really great question.
You bet.
So with Fullcast, there is a lot of opportunity within the sales performance management market. And this is...
I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible sponsors of the Beliefcast podcast. First, Craig from Craig Swap & Associates. If you need an attorney, he's your guy. Trustworthy, compassionate, always there when you need him most. Next, Wasatch Recovery, the greatest university on the planet, transforming lives one day at a time. Sandy from Minky Couture, the creative genius behind the most comfortable blanket you'll ever wrap yourself in. Comfort like no other. Special thanks to the award-winning pianist Paul Cardall for his beautiful music that brings inspiration to every episode.
This is getting kind of technical, but marketing and sales and revenue operations, they're all, and customer success, they're all kind of siloed in their own little things, right? And so between marketing and sales, there can be so much pain and chaos in between there, right? Yeah. And you hear these stories about marketing and sales leaders hating each other, and the emotions are real, right?
Sure.
The emotions are real. Yeah. There's a lot of frustration, and the opportunity that we have here in front of us at Fullcast is to help smooth it out, to streamline it, to provide a platform where everything from the first lead to the end result and from a customer success output is smooth and visible and transparent and easy. And a lot of people don't really think about the emotional impact of that.
Yeah.
But there's great emotional impact. And a lot of people's main ambitions for Fullcast are are wonderful. It's to grow the company.
Yeah.
It's to provide opportunities for especially our women investors to get 10x on their money, to be able to provide a solution that from end to end, from plan to pay, gives you the visibility, the transparency, the automation that you need. For me, I'm so excited for the day when marketing and sales leaders, like I feel so lucky to work with the sales leader that I have. His name's Pete Shelton, and he's just absolutely phenomenal. But like that could become the norm for everyone, you know, where there, you know, you reduce the misconceptions, you reduce the blaming, you reduce, you know, and you just look at everything transparently in business, and you go and have a great day at work.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want for everyone to go to work and have a great day.
Right? Hey, I love that. That's, I'm always looking forward to that here, you know. I want to have a great day, you know.
That's right.
No, I love it. I think your work there is amazing, and I know you haven't been there for very long, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just a little over a year.
Yeah, so, and I'm sure you guys have big plans and things like that. And, you know, is there anything else that you're working on? I know this is your baby right now, but is there other stuff that you know, have on your mind that you're working on the side even, or?
Well, I
just kind of.
I have had a really fun time with my kids this year because my son's getting his master's degree and my daughter just graduated from BYU. My second daughter, she just graduated from high school.
Wow.
My fourth, Jenny, she is going to be a senior. And my youngest, Haley, just graduated from 8th grade. So we just had a really big year.
Wow,
so
you got the wide range there.
It was a wide range, and my son just got engaged. And anyway, so it's been a really great year. And then Jeff and I are going to have our 20th anniversary.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
Wow,
I
that's
appreciate
amazing.
that. It's awesome, and I love it. And it's I feel very, very blessed to have the family support, you know.
Yeah, you know what I love about your story too is that despite the hard things, you prevailed. And it reminds all of us the power of the human spirit.
Yeah,
like we are powerful, and we can go through some really tough things. And, you know, and as we know, and we have family members and friends, and we see stories of people who have gone through some of the most horrific things, but to watch them rise above it. And everyone's challenges are relative, right?
That's
They're just, your challenges were your challenges, mine are mine. And we might look at them differently, but they're the mountain we had to climb.
That's right.
Right?
That's
and
right.
to see you do that and to rise above and to be where you're at now, where 20 years in marriage successfully and amazing kids who are all doing good things, it sounds like. You've got an amazing job. You've done some amazing things in helping people, especially women.
Thank you.
I mean, that's got to feel pretty good.
It feels wonderful to have committed to do things the right way.
Yeah.
Be honest, work hard, lead with love. And I do feel very, very fortunate. And I love what you said about everybody has their own mountain to climb, right? A lot of people go through what I went through. I'm not like everybody goes through stuff.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me, but life's hard for everybody, you know? And I think that the more that we can give each other grace and help each other, I think the better off we're all going to be, you know? And my goal is that I can somehow give back in some way all of the great help that I've been given along the way. I'm so grateful for like key people who came to my life in just the right time, you know?
Yeah.
And helped me through a challenge and made me feel like I was worth something. You know, I'm super grateful for that. There was one really like flashbulb moment that I had a couple of years ago. And again, getting religious, but I was in the car working on a video screen. And I just had my background on so nobody knew I was in the car. So there was this, I was in a parking lot in Salt Lake City.
Right.
And I saw this, and I heard this knock on my window in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I look over, and there's this guy that's like knocking on my window. And I was like, he looked like kind of distressed. And so I was like, okay, guys, total transparency. I'm in a car. I'll be back in a minute. Someone's knocking on my window.
You better go check.
Right. And so I rolled down the window, and I'm like, are you doing okay? Like, what's the problem? And he goes, can I have $75 because I need a hotel room tonight, and my mom's going to Venmo me some money, but she can't do it until tomorrow, and I have nowhere to sleep tonight. And I was like, sure, no problem. And he immediately burst into tears. And he said, why do I even doubt? I was over in the corner, and I prayed that God would help me, and the first person I came to gave me the money I needed to sleep.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
And it wasn't like I had some like big revelation or anything to like, oh, you should give this person money. I did it because it was the right thing to do, right?
Right.
And I felt super grateful. That for me was more impactful than it was for him, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I hope that God trusts me enough that I can help when I can help. You know what I mean?
Totally. Well, it's as if God sent him to you knowing that God knew that you would give the money.
I hope that's what that's what it was.
Well,
you know, I hope.
No, I think so.
I want to
really
be
do.
trusted to be able. That's how I want to. That's how I feel. I'm like, I just feel so grateful that I've been given so many blessings in my life that I hope I can be trusted.
Yeah, I think you are.
Oh, thank you.
I really do.
Thank you.
That's just who you are. Well, I wanted to share something with you. I've shared it a few times, but I want to get your thoughts on it. Okay, and it has to do with kind of like you mentioned. There's these key people that showed up right when they needed to, and go back to even when you were going through maybe the darkest time of your life, right? So I'm going to share this with you. It's by a guy named Alan Watts. Okay. It's kind of long, not too long, but I want to share with you, and I want to hear your thoughts. Okay. Is that okay?
I'd love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it goes. It's titled, Isn't It Curious? So isn't it curious that the moment you begin to grow, the people around you begin to vanish? But when you were reckless, lost in the noise of indulgence, you were never alone. But now as you strive for something more, silence. You see, human beings cling to familiarity, not because it's good, not because it's right, but simply because it's known. And when you begin to change, when you step beyond the version they once knew, it unsettles them. Most friendships aren't built on deep connection, but shared habits. If you drink, they drink. If you complain, they complain. If you fear, they fear. Misery, after all, loves company. But the moment you no longer entertain the drama, the gossip, the self-destruction, the crowd thins. Not because they dislike you, but because they do not know you anymore. And truthfully, they do not wish to. So what will it be? To stay the same, surrounded but stagnant, or to walk alone for a time and discover the rare few who resonate with your higher self? Because the irony is, the loneliest path is often the only one that leads to true belonging.
That is so beautiful.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it's so true.
I thought of this morning. I was like, what could I share with Amy? And I just felt really strongly to share that with you. And I just love to hear your take on that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't think you know how impactful that particular story is to me today. That is just absolutely beautiful and so meaningful. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Yeah, I love that. And I came across it, a couple months ago, and I was like, what? And it was a time when I needed to hear it. I was like, oh my goodness, it was so impactful to me as well.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right?
There was an inaugural speech that Nelson Mandela gave a couple of decades ago, and it's become very popular. And I'm not going to quote it correctly, but it's very similar, where it talks about where people will say to you, who are you to think that you're wonderful, beautiful, valuable?
Yeah.
But really, who are you not? Like, how can you not think that?
Yeah.
Like God made you the way that he made you and made you beautiful and perfect and wonderful and to believe that is the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And to not, the familiarity and based on shared habits, I think that is so poignant and real. And I think that a lot of us fall into that trap because we want to be liked. We want to
Yeah.
be approved of.
We do.
We want to, you
So
know, I think,
true.
I'm right. Don't we all?
Oh.
Most of us anyway. I
No,
do.
we do. No, we're all there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
I think that is that path of self-reflection and evolution is a lonely one.
Yeah.
And it's the only one, and you can't take it with anybody.
Yeah.
It has to be a lone path for you.
Yeah. And I would imagine when you were going through that dark time, you felt alone until you had that moment of like, you know what, God still actually loves me, even though I've gone through this.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one person was God at that moment, right?
Absolutely. And it was really hard because like it happens with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of times people don't want to get involved. They don't want to pick sides. And so they withdraw.
Yep.
And it makes that pain that you experience going through that separation more poignant because you've not just lost your life partner, or your spouse, you've lost all your friends too.
Yeah.
You know, and then families take sides, and so it just causes a lot of havoc. But I really love that, and I really do think that path to really knowing who you are, and that path to self, you know, evolution and growth has to be taken by yourself.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a really great quote.
Oh, thank you. I want to ask you if there's someone listening to you right now who's in a dark place and they're struggling and they're lost and they've tuned into this episode to listen to Amy. What would you tell that person right now?
Oh, I would say you're not alone. People who you might not think are experiencing exactly what you're experiencing and have felt exactly as you have felt. And it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter if you are 100% entirely to blame for your pain. You're beautiful and wonderful, and you're worth it, and you are so valuable, and you need to believe it. You need to believe that about yourself, because that's the first step on the way to recovering from the pain that you're experiencing, or any habits that you have that are not like going to be conducive to you being happy in the future. You know?
Wow. Beautifully said. And
Thank you.
that touched me too. Seriously. And I think anyone listening who is struggling, those are some really powerful words. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
If someone wants to reach out to you and get to know you better and, you know, learn more about what you're doing and understand better with, you know, all the good you've done, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Thanks for asking.
Bet.
Well, I'm very active on Facebook and on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at responding to messages. So you could just find me there and we
Okay.
can have a chat. I remember going through, like after I went through a divorce, I compiled a book with a lot of women who were going through it with me too.
Mm-hmm.
And one woman reached out and said that she put the book on her bedside every night, and that was how she coped, and how she
really?
was like, you know, how she survived. And it made me feel so grateful that, you know, when we reach out to each other, when we communicate, when we share our experiences with each other, the burden is lifted by all of us, right? By sharing. And so if anyone would be, you know, interested in sharing that with me, I would definitely be listening here.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll
put those links in the show notes so people can click right to you and get to you. And,
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Honestly, I wish we could talk longer. I could talk to you all day.
Me too.
Right?
I love chatting with you.
Yeah, this has been great. And, you know, I always say this, when I do a podcast like this and an episode and an interview, when it feels like it went 5 minutes, I'm like, I know it was a great episode, a great interview, because it feels like we've been talking just for 5 minutes.
It really does. I'm like, oh, let's do it. Joe, do you have another hour?
I know. No, it's wonderful. And I've admired you from the first time I met you, and I've been following you ever since. And I had this feeling, I'm going to reach out to her and see if she'd come on my show.
I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for having me. I just feel so blessed to be here, and I feel like you've really taught me some lessons that I needed to learn today. And thank you.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Amy. Well, there you go, folks. Amy Cook. Please reach out to her if you want to know more about what she's doing. Follow her on Facebook and LinkedIn. Again, thanks for tuning in. Again, thanks to my sponsors. I couldn't do this without you guys. I can't believe I've been doing this for 8 years. It's
so
kind of
awesome.
Crazy. But I wouldn't be able to do it if the people weren't listening. It started with one listener. It was my wife. And now we're coming up on 600,000, and it just blows my mind.
Incredible.
It's so cool. So thank you guys. I love you so much. And Amy, one last thank you to you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Take care, everyone.